Last time I checked, we're in a maternal mental health crisis, and it is not pretty. Folks are not able to, well, first of all, a lot of folks aren't getting screened for mental health issues. And then, of course, there's guidance on the cadence of that screening and whatnot, which is great. There's also, we have access issues, which are largely taken care of or largely addressed right now by having a lot of these national hotlines, which is awesome. And I love, 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 love. For those of you who have not heard about 988, save that thing to your phone and don't wait until you're in a crisis to call 988, even though 988 is definitely there for crisis as well. But I love I love thinking about prevention and thinking about resilience and how resilience is something that has to be planned for. And resilience isn't necessarily something that you have or don't have. It is something that you can develop through iteration over time. Yeah, so there's that. And then of course there's the issue where folks are don't have access to mental health care providers, or they might have access to mental health care providers that they don't necessarily trust or have limited access to. So that's the lay of the land that I am pretty well aware of, especially considering my own experience with, or my own experience in the postpartum space, as a patient, as a mom, and whatnot. So, yeah, so there's that. And we do a really great job raising awareness about this and talking about this. There are folks that make their bread and butter by going around touring and talking about what a big issue this is, raising awareness for the issue. What I find, though, is that progress in this area seems to be dependent on, where progress seems to be dependent on policy change and training of providers and so on and so forth, which is understandable. I get it. I get it. But I do think that as human beings, we have a responsibility. And this is where, here we go. This is where the unpopular opinion comes in. This is my view, and these are my thoughts, my own private thoughts. Okay. But let me let you into my crazy world. One, resiliency is something that can be learned. And I think that in this country, we're really hard pressed for folks to have access to resiliency training, mindset training, and coaching and whatnot. And I think that there's a bit of a disparity there as well when it comes to access to that sort of training. For example, when it comes to things like, okay, let's be as simple as guided imagery or something like that. Like, that is something that can be done in the four walls of a clinician's office. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I do not understand why folks can't learn to do guided imagery on their own, period. And that's not to say that guided imagery with a clinician should be like, that should take place of, like, guided imagery on your own should take place of guided imagery with a cognitive behavioral therapist. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we can have our cake and eat it too. We can have it both ways. We can have it both ways. And when it comes to a lot of these things, like, let me talk about, and I'm going to sound like a hippie here, I guess, but like things like that have helped me in my own experience, in my own life, and my own ability to kind of roll with the punches and be resilient. And I'm not trying to say that we don't solve the problem, but what I am trying to say is we have resources at our disposal that we have not, I believe that we have not tapped into. There's a whole slew of science and of knowledge that deals with how our brain works, our neural pathways, how we deal with stress, how we deal with crisis and situations like that. Like there are whole skills and a whole body of knowledge that we fail to acknowledge and we fail to tap into. And I think that oftentimes it's those who are in a place of privilege that get access to a lot of those things. So I'm going to step away from maternal health for like one hot second and talk about kids. So, kids, imagine you have kids. One example of this might be something like anger management, or box breathing is a great one. You've probably heard me talk about box breathing a few times on this channel. Why wouldn't I teach my child box breathing? And then when I'm teaching my child box breathing, which is a great way of relaxing, and and it's backed by science. Like, we know the effects that box breathing has on the vagus nerve and how that lowers your heart rate and makes it easier for us to get in touch with reality and calm the heck down, right? Now, think about this. I'm When's the best time for me to teach my child box breathing? Is the best time to teach my child box breathing when they're wilding out and they're stressed and they're freaking out and they're in the middle of fight or flight? Their reptile brain is going, freaking out. There's all this stuff going on. Or do I teach my child box breathing when they're in a place where they're receptive, when they're calm? And do I walk them through it and coach them through how to do box breathing, right? And then do I reinforce that lesson and iterate on top of that skill, that ability, that habit, dare I say it, when there is an opportunity and when their reptile brain is wilding out? Do I use it in the moment and go, remember what we practiced together? Like, this is a great tool for you, right? Because my hope is, when it comes to using something like box breathing, and again, this is just an example, but my hope is, when it comes to teaching my child how to use something like box breathing, that is something that they internalize and can take with them, and they have something else in their toolkit when they're navigating the world. Because my job as a parent is to prepare my child to be able to face the world, to figure things out and navigate, right? To figure out, like, what are the tools that I need? Or, dare I say it, what tools do I have at my disposal, and how can I use them to meet my current need, to address the current situation, or to, prepare for the future? Things like that, right? I did a little bit of research. I'm always doing research, but it's the same thing in a way when it comes to when I'm thinking about mental health for an adult, and especially for mental health in maternal health, in the maternal health space, especially when it comes to that time, that unique time postpartum, when the brain is really, really, really ripe for learning new skills. Like, not ripe, but fertile. The brain is really fertile at that time with what's going on neurologically. I have a little bit of a notebook LM on that. I will share that with you. It will be in one of the after videos of this video. You can just click on it and listen to it. I don't have that out public on my YouTube channel, but you will have the link to it if you want to listen to it. But yeah, there's a bit of evidence there. And what I'm saying is, it would behoove us, and I dare I say it, I don't believe that there is a downside. I cannot see the downside to folks learning skills that help with resilience, that help with mindset, that help with our ability to cope and navigate our situation. And I'm talking specifically about those practices that deal with mental health, essentially. Like, how are we doing with our mental health? Just like physical health, even though like we can't really we can't really separate them. But physical health, we don't glean, and I can speak on this. I am a personal trainer and I'm a nurse, right? It makes no sense physically, right? For us to only think about or reach for physical well-being when we are under the care of a provider. There is so much we can do to in our lives, day to day, dare I say it, habits, healthy habits, lifestyle modifications. There are so many hacks. There's so many things that we can do for our own physical health away from the provider that don't require a provider prescription. Like, it does not take a provider's prescription for us to eat an apple or to eat broccoli. Or, you see what I'm saying? And of course it's not all or nothing. But I don't know if I'm making sense here, but it doesn't take a doctor's order for us to eat healthy or healthier, make a little better choice today and a better choice tomorrow for our longevity and for our health. Same thing with exercise. Like, dare I say it, it doesn't require a doctor's prescription for us to exercise, but we know the benefit of exercise, right? We know the benefit of exercise. Exercise just happens to be popular right now, which is wonderful, especially for me. Yay! I love exercise, right? But what is not popular is mental health. Mental health is not popular at all. It is such a taboo, and folks are just so weird about it when it comes to mental health and resiliency, even though that is a dimension of us, that is a part of us that really has long lasting effects, major consequences. And yeah, you get it. You know what I mean? Like, it really is a pretty big deal. We talk about stigma, right? We talk about the stigma, especially in certain communities, of seeking mental health support. And seeking mental health support looks like reaching out to a provider. Understandably, yes, you should. Why not reach out to a professional? Great. Yes, 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 yes. I hope you hear me saying this. I'm saying yes. Yes. Do that. Do that. Connect with the professional. Connect with someone that will guide you through. Connect with someone that will help you develop those skills. Connect with somebody that is an expert and able to help you have that breakthrough that you need so that you can be healthy, teach you those skills, teach you how to eat and how to exercise in a way mentally. Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely. But what I am saying is it is not popular right now. And in a lot of situations or in a lot of communities, dare I say it, it is taboo and looked down on. So, of course, our conversation is going to be about professionals, access to professionals. Our conversation is going to be about medications and access to medications, right? But again, think about that from the perspective, think about that in regards to physical health. We know that our health is abbreviated, might be abbreviated when we get with our doctor or when we get with or when we have a certain medication or whatever, but our health is largely determined by the decisions that we make every day. But what folks do not know, and what I believe we fail in our country of sharing are those strategies to build resilience, to build mental resilience, mental fortitude, those behaviors that are absolute game changers that can take us, we can learn as a skill to go from being folks that react. Like people are always like, oh, what's their reaction? Clock that reaction. Nah, we're called to more than that, than just reacting. If all I do is react, then I must be in a really stressed out state and it must just be my reptile brain talking, right? But really, there are skills that we can learn to help us respond in life, respond accordingly. And there is nothing wrong with leveraging those skills and being connected with a mental health professional too. There's nothing wrong with leveraging those skills and having medication as well. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's some low-hanging fruit. We have an opportunity here. We definitely have an opportunity here. And I think opportunity is made obvious by our ridiculous statistics and by deaths by despair. When you look at vital statistics and you look at maternal mortality and how the leading cause, like over 20 something percent of maternal mortality after pregnancy is from suicide. That is literally categorized like in vital statistics, like it's called deaths of despair. That's one of them. Another one is from illicit drug use and overdose. But this one specifically is deaths of despair via suicide. And then on another level, and this is just me thinking out loud. And then on another level, there are folks that like we need to teach folks how to use their resources, right? Like we're so quick to say, you know, if you're in a tough spot, then do this. If you're in a really tough spot, then do this. Well, what ends up happening is folks are in crisis and they don't even know it. The moment they're facing mental health struggles and they don't know if they are bad enough or in a situation that has gotten to the point where they should call 988 or where they should go to the hospital or where if they should even seek help. And it's wild. Like I see this all the time. I see this every single day. Like not a day goes by. I kid you not. Not a single day goes by where I am online with moms, where I have not replied to a DM and said, sweetheart, I need you to call this number right now. And they're like, oh, is it really that bad? And it's just like, it doesn't have to get that bad, right? Like what I'm hearing and what I'm reading from you, you're literally saying, I feel disconnected from my body. You're literally saying, I have this rage, or you're literally saying this jealousy or whatever. And it's easy for us to look out and to say, to reach out, to look out and be like, okay, I can identify this in you. But when it comes time to identifying when we need help, we forget. We reason ourselves away from that. I don't know what we tell ourselves. I know what I've told myself. I mean, I did do a video when I was talking about lying on those screening tools, those screening surveys when they're like, "Hey, are you good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I am." I wasn't. I did a video on that. I get it. It's real. And the reason I said I lied was because I didn't want help from them. But But still, I digress. But what if moms knew before? What if we normalized before these tools in our arsenal, these skills that can be developed for a mom to use at any time, even while she is changing a baby's diaper? You can literally, oh, I've done it. You can literally box breathe while you're changing a child's diaper. You can. You can. So, what if we normalized these skills that are scientifically proven to build resilience and help us out? And what if we lowered the bar for when we leverage these skills? The skills that I'm talking about, and let me be very clear here, I'm talking about mindfulness exercises. I'm talking about breathing exercises. I'm talking about grounding exercises. I'm talking about body scanning exercises. You might not know what that means at all. You might not have heard of this. And that is literally why I'm making this video, one. But two, I got a little secret for you. Because I don't just think about this stuff, right? I don't just think about this stuff. I put out a video, I want to say, was it last week, about how Ester, and if you don't know what Ester is an multi-agent AI companion at this time, specifically for life after pregnancy at this time. Okay. Eventually, Ester will go into the pregnancy space. And what I'm about to say is there might be an opportunity for some of us pregnant or getting ready to be pregnant to leverage Ester in a hot second here. And the reason I'm saying that is in that video, it was just one example of how Ester can teach you these skills. Ester can literally teach you how to do body scanning. Ester can literally teach you how to do box breathing. In fact, Ester has, I knew how to do it by then, so it was also confirmation bias up the wazoo, right? But I literally tested Ester to see if Ester would be able to teach me to do box breathing. Okay? Because these are all tools in our arsenal that we can use. And just like you're obviously not my child, but I care for you. So just like with anyone else that you're teaching these skills to, one, you don't need a doctor's order to learn these skills. And if anyone disagrees with me, please put that in the chat. Come for me, talk to me. We will have it out. We can even, I'll interview you. We can talk about it. You don't need a doctor's order to learn these skills. It doesn't have to be popular. We don't have to wait till it's popular or socially acceptable to learn these skills and to have this stuff in our arsenal. We don't. There's also scientific evidence, which I put in the notebook LM that I'm going to attach to this video. Scientific evidence that when we learn and use mindfulness exercises or certain interventions that Ester can teach you how to do, it, in a way, and I don't know how, but it can trickle down to our offspring. And next thing you know, our offspring they're able to regulate themselves easier. The way that was measured was through heart rate variability, by the way. They tested heart rate variability in moms and heart rate variability in children or in babies did an experiment, which that information is in the notebook LM that I'm going to share with you guys at the end of this video. And they found that the kids whose moms practiced those exercises, those mindfulness exercises and whatnot, the kids were more resilient. They were able to recover from not trauma, but they were able to recover from displeasure or whatever, the stimulus, the negative stimulus, a lot faster, like statistically significant ways than babies whose moms didn't do these things. So even if it's now I'm dangling the carrot in front of you. Now I'm spoonful of honey. It's time to do the work and it's time to learn some of these skills, right? Even if it's not for you, because a lot of times, like, we'll do anything for our babies, we'll do anything for our kids. But and this is not just for me, but from a lot of the birth workers I've spoken with. A mom will do anything for her kids, but oftentimes she won't do, like, she won't advocate for her own self, for example. We also hear when it comes to that, and I've been guilty of this. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna take care of my kid first. Like, forget me. I'm taking care of my kids first, of course, right? But in doing this, in learning these skills, and learning these abilities and just trying them out, dabbling in them, see if you find value in that. What you are potentially doing and what has been scientifically proven, and I have the receipts I'm going to share at the end of this video, is that you're actually making your child more resilient. You're actually caring for your child. You're literally and measurably making your child happier and more peaceful and able to roll with the punches even better. So if you're not going to do it for you and you don't have the time for you, I promise you, if that's what you want for your kids, maybe it's worth taking a look at. So I've made this very, very easy for you. I also, at the end of this video, I also attached, or I will attach, and this will be like on the end screen. I'm still learning YouTube, guys, but this will be on the end screen. That I will take you back to that video that I did when I injected a prompt into Esther, and Esther took me through a mindfulness exercise where I was able to take stock of what my strengths are, what my resources are. What I'm also going to do is, and I'm not done with it, obviously, but what I'm also going to do is make it to where some of those other skills that can be taught in a chat-based way will be available to you. And if the chat base is not enough for you, then you'll also have a video that I will show you, that I will take you through. So feel free to like, share, subscribe this for anyone. But this is literally going to be part of the education that I'm providing you guys, that I'm providing moms with on how to use Ester. Like, I'm developing a course right now, and part of that coursework, as far as the portion of prompting Ester and how to really use Ester. Like, I mean, right now it might be prompts. Later on, these might be modules that are built out where you have an easy button and Ester will take you through this exercise or whatever. Let me know. Like, so the more that moms use it and the more feedback I get, the more likely I am to turn that into a module. But I'm not going to run around and turn that thing into a module if it's not of value to you, which is why, hear me when I say this, check out Ester, use Ester, get Ester, check out the demo. I made it very, I hope I made it very easy for you. The link to get Esther, the demo for Esther is gonna be in the description of this video. So moms, or even if you're pregnant, it doesn't, in this case, it doesn't hurt. Like even if you're pregnant or you're getting ready to be pregnant, it doesn't hurt for you to learn these skills. Obviously, for regular chat at this time, I want it to be for, I mean, Esther is for those navigating life after pregnancy, but Esther is going to be used as a not difficult. Esther is going to be used as a vehicle for me to scale teaching these skills to you. Teaching you these skills. I want you to learn these skills. I want you to invest in these skills. I mean, it's free. It's free for you. So when I say invest, make the decision to learn how to do this. I'm going to have on that page, like on the page already. Actually, I should show you. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Hold on. So I'm going on to esterchat.com. I should just show you. If you do not have Ester, if you're not using Ester, you don't have access to Ester right now, you do have access to Ester right now. I'm just letting you know that right now. You scroll down here, esterchat.com. This lets you know a little bit about what's going on. You put your email, or you click this to start your demo, and it gives you a place to put your email address. The reason that I'm collecting email addresses right now is so that I have a tether or a way of communicating with you and letting you know, hey, this update is up, or hey, the online community is up and running. Hey, the course is ready. There are going to be some folks that are early access community folks that will be guinea pigs for my course. Like, I'm not going to just write this course and throw it out there and be like, here we go, we're done. You know, I'm going to iterate on it based off of what you say. So those courses, when they come out on Ester and how to use Ester, are not just going to be stale and stagnant and crusty and sitting there. I'm going to be getting your feedback, soliciting your feedback in those courses and whatnot, so that the courses can be better. But still on this page, and this is esterchat.com. Okay. I do talk about the community, but look at this. Looking for inspiration, grounding, and reflection for stressful times. Look at that. Oh, bam, baby. I literally, right here, this is where I walk you through. And this right here is the prompt that I use. You can literally take this, copy this prompt, and put it straight into Ester. When you're chatting with Ester, you're going to get an email with the link so that you can chat with Ester. You don't, and this is what I did with this prompt for you. You don't even have to, let me stop sharing. With this prompt, you don't even have to introduce yourself to Ester. I've made this prompt so that you can literally, like, the first prompt or the first thing that you put in there can be this prompt, and Ester will still learn you, get to know you, like learn your name and blah, 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 and then take you through that exercise. Feel free to ask questions. You can try to stomp Ester if you want, but this is a prompt-based way for, oh, you don't see my screen anymore. I'm sorry. But this is a prompt-based way for Ester to take you through an exercise, okay? Based off of the feedback that I get from that, I'm still tweaking prompts here. And again, right now they're prompts. Later on, they might become modules, but right now they're prompts. I want to teach you not just this reflection, but I want to teach you grounding. There are many different grounding techniques out there, but I want to teach you grounding. I want to teach you body scanning. I want to teach you the breathing techniques like box breathing and whatnot. And I am going to teach them to you through Ester. That's what I'm saying. So yeah, I really think the time has come. You, again, might not be in a place where you're in crisis right now. And I doubt that if you're in a place of crisis, you're going to be watching my video on YouTube right now. That's kind of, but especially if you're, oh God, I'm not going to cry here. Oh, I cry too easy. Especially if you're one of those moms that are in my DMs on Facebook. I will slide this video into your DMs and just leave it there. But if you get this video from me in your DM, that means that I care about you. I care about all of you. I do. But if you get this video in your DMs, just know that when I was putting this video together, I was thinking of you specifically. And I care. And again, this is another prime example of how technology can be used to reach you and to help you. And I do not believe that it requires a doctor's order for you to learn box breathing. And I do not believe at all, and I'm ready for anyone to come at me, but I do not believe at all that there is any negative consequence to learning these skills. Because as you call 988, you will also have something else in your arsenal. As you wait to be seen by a professional, if you go in that direction, and do not hear me, y'all need to hear me. I believe in professional health. There is nothing wrong with medications, especially if you're dealing with an imbalance. These skills are not to be a replacement of any of that, okay? Especially if you make your bread and butter touring around the nation talking about and raising awareness for what we need to curb the tide when it comes to maternal mental health. I'm with you. But what I'm trying to say is there is instead of a either or, I think we can have both and. Both. And the way that I'm going to get that out to you in your private chats will be through Ester. So do not feel like you have to comment on this video if you don't want to. If a few of you did, that would be awesome. But don't feel like you have to do that. What I would like is for you to consider learning some of these exercises. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And now with Ester, you can learn to do these things. You can learn these skills in the privacy of your own home, the bathroom maybe, while the baby is clawing at you, 3 o'clock in the morning. You can learn these skills at the palm of your hand. You can practice this at the palm of your hand. You can practice this while you're exhausted and tired. It does not hurt. So yeah, there you go. Again, this video, the Peace Be Still, I'm going to put that on the end screen. I will put that little notebook LM with the scientific evidence. I will put that in the end screen as well. I will put the link to getting Ester in the description of this video as well. I'm trying to think of whatever else I owe you. But if there's anything else that you want, let me know. Put it in the comments. Let me know. Hit a girl up. I got you. But yeah, that's it. That's what I wanted to share with you. There's nothing wrong with learning to prepare ourselves and develop those habits that set the stage for health and longevity, that set the stage for betterness, and dare I say it, can maybe chip away at some of our abysmal mental health rates and stats in maternal health. But anyway, all right, catch you on the other side.
Look out for new updates.